In this video, we are going to learn about some of the important elements of the Unreal Engine 5 workspace and how to navigate it. The Unreal navigation is pretty similar to Maya. If you Alt and middle mouse, you can pan around. The only catch is that the panning happens in the opposite direction that you move your mouse. Alt and right click is zooming in and out, and Alt and left click is rotating around your object. There are also different shortcuts that do the same thing. For example, if you just use your left mouse, you can zoom and you can sort of rotate around. Your right mouse allows you to rotate around. So they do pretty much the same thing, but if you're used to the Maya shortcuts, you can just navigate using that. Let's take a look at some of the windows that are important. On your right, you have your outliner, and this has all the objects that are in your scene. And if you click on an object and you click on details, you'll be able to see all the details of your object. I have this thing selected, which is a mesh. You can see it has my static mesh, and then here I have my material that is assigned to this object. You can do this for any object. So I have another element here that's called atmospheric fog, and that has its own details. This is very similar to the outliner in Maya. Now on your left, you have the place actors window. If you don't have this, you can go up to window and select place actors. The place actors window just contains any element that you can add to your scene. When you're using Unreal Engine terminology, any object that you have in your scene is called an actor. So you have light actors, you have mesh actors, you have camera actors, and then you have a bunch of other actors and post-processing that you can add into your Unreal Engine workspace. Other elements that are important are your content drawer. This content drawer contains any item that is imported into your scene. Right now, I have all these meshes that are imported into my project, and I have materials which are attached to these meshes. You cannot use anything within the workspace unless it has been imported into your project first. And once it's imported, you can create as many duplicates as you want of these objects. I have already dragged them into my workspace. If I want a copy, I could just select one of them, Control D to duplicate, and move that around. Or I could just drag it in from my content browser and then move this around. And this creates an instance of that object in your outliner. So it's not creating a new object. So you can see that it's still this object that we've imported. It's just creating an object instance of this object. You can assign different materials to the instances. So both of them right now have bullhead M assigned to them. I can just go here and I can assign a different material to this instance. And even though it is not creating a copy of that object, you still just have one bull over here. It is letting you customize that particular object instance. Then we have our sections up here, which basically let you choose. You have rotate, you have translate, and you have scale. And you have your snap values, so you can snap right now when these are turned on. If you rotate, it snaps at certain points. It snaps every 10 degrees. And the same thing, you can enable that for moving. So if you have this on, it snaps every 10 centimeters. You can turn these off if you don't want things to snap, or you can have them on and you can edit these values to snap them to a certain place. If you don't see your lights, for example, I have a light over here, and if you're not able to see that lights, that just means your project is in game mode. So if I go to these three lines right here, I can turn on or off game view. So if game view is off, You're able to see your lights, you're able to see any cameras you add to the scene. If game view is on, you are not able to see any of that. So I'm going to turn this off. I do want to see my lights, I do want to see my cameras, and that is mostly it. You will be using these options right here as well. You have your on selection mode by default. You go into modeling mode to edit pivots. You need the landscape mode and the foliage mode for bigger environments where you're adding landscape and foliage. And once you are able to navigate the workspace, you can add different objects. You can import objects into your content drawer. You can add new lights. I always have a directional light in the scene that just gives you a more accurate light that works exactly like sunlight.